I'm Fred Mack, CEO of Fam Spotlight and executive producer. We have great artists on the show today. Check them out. Welcome to the show.
My guest today is Kid from the legendary hip-hop duo Kid and Play. You know him from all the house party movies, and the list goes on. So please welcome my guest, my guy, Kid to Fam Spotlight.
Hey, how y'all doing? Everybody doing out there, man? I'm Princeton. Once again, I want to thank everybody who's watching on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, tuning in to Fan Spotlight TV. I want to shout out my man Fred Mack for definitely putting this thing together, man. Definitely appreciate him, everything he's doing. Shout out to the whole team that's out here. Right now, man, I got some amazing things going on, man. Due to what we got going on, we have, amazing things going on, and I have somebody with me who's going to hold it down with me. Introduce yourself. Let everybody know what's going on. Rose.
Hey, it's your girl, Real Rose. How you guys doing tonight or today?
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to get the interview rolling, and who we have with us today is a legendary person, man. I know everybody who follow me on Facebook, Instagram, y'all already know who this guy is. Man, if you don't know nothing about the movies this guy been in and what he's been about, man, it's just like a legendary guy. I want everybody who watching us on Facebook Live, Instagram, give it up for Christopher Kid Reid, man. How you doing, man?
What's up? Insert applause here, right? This is where we insert things. Right. Yeah, man. Great to be here, man. Nice to see y'all.
Man, appreciate
greetings from California.
How is Cali?
You know what? It's in light of what's going on, it's very sunny, but it ain't warm.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They got the hoodie on, so no, it ain't that warm.
Like it is. I mean, but it's not warm. Like it's temperature warm, but it's not. The vibe ain't warm. You know what I'm saying? But it's beautiful, which makes it even all the more frustrating because you'd like to go and do something, but we're just chilling. We're just chilling.
Right. And one of the first
questions as we should.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to think I'm over down at the beaches with them folks and clamoring to get on the beach or that's all right. I'm good. We're good.
But one of the first questions I want to ask you, this whole coronavirus situation and then how crazy the time is right now. How is this affecting you on your everyday?
Well, I mean, excuse me. Since it's been going down, I mean, it's had a tremendous effect. I mean, just in terms of what we get to do, from a business perspective, what Kid and Play gets to do. I mean, prior to this, we were, out on the road all the time, either touring together or me going around doing my stand-up. So obviously that's taken a hit now. But I just think what we've tried to do is just try to prepare individually and collectively for when this does lift. So, it's those projects that you hadn't quite finished, those scripts and topics you hadn't finished writing about, or those songs you hadn't finished writing. It's a perfect opportunity for stuff like that. It's a perfect opportunity to kind of refocus and stay in touch, at least virtually with the people that you care about. I've got kids and relatives all over the world. So, and then just trying to give yourself a routine or make a new one, that involves you mostly not being able to leave home. So, it's been a little weird the last few weeks, but I think, we're rounding into shape, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think we know exactly what's going to happen down the road, but we're taking it day by day and we're staying in contact with our loved ones and, just trying to keep everybody's spirits up, and, I think what people are doing online is great. All the DJs and all the different stuff on the different platforms that people are kind of trying to stay in touch. And I think that part is real cool. And with that, I kind of understand. I think at times like this, people kind of go back to things that made them feel comfortable before all this started. So they'll go back to old movies they like House Party. This being the 30th anniversary. I think a lot of people are reaching out for it because it's comforting. It's those movies that we like. The DJs are playing all that classic stuff from the 80s and 90s because it makes people feel happy. It makes people feel think about a time when things weren't as crazy. So just trying to keep it pushing. That's all. Me and my girl Mona. You know what I'm saying? We just
yeah, I like that. I like that painting in the back.
Yeah. She got 5 on it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you mentioned about the movie and how iconic it is, especially if you said 30. It's been 30 years.
This is the 30th year. House Party came out in March of 1990. So this is actually and we had a lot of kind of celebratory situations that we kind of been working on that have kind of been put to the side because of the virus. So yeah, it's been 30 years. It's crazy, and I'm only 37. Which is
so I'm curious. So what got you guys started back then? Let's just take me back to memory lane. What got you started even being part of this movie?
Right. Well, I mean, it started way before that. I mean, I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, yeah. Play and I both from New York. We grew up in Queens, around the corner from one another. So this was really based on, a real friendship that we cultivated over the years. And, initially we started off in the rap game, along with our producer, Herbie Lovebug, who had created Salt and Pepper by that time. So early on, Herbie Lovebug was producing our records. We had a lot of success on the East Coast. Then we started touring, opening up for Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper by then was huge. And we were all kind of a part of the same camp, the Idol Makers camp. So, we would open for them. And then down the line, when Kwame joined our organization, he would open for us. And, we all tried to help one another on the way up. And it was the success of the music that got us and brought us to the attention of Reggie and Warrington Hudlin, the producer and director of the original House Party. They knew us from our videos and stuff in New York and performances, and they stepped to us with the script. And I read the script, and I remember thinking at the time, like it wasn't 100% there. I figured it was like 70, 75% there. But I thought that with plan and our interaction and working closely with Reggie, the director, I thought we could get it to 100, which I think we did. And it was a brand new experience for all of us. It was a lot of our first movies, mine and Play, Reggie Hudlin's first movie. But it was a great cast. People like Martin, people like Tisha Campbell, people like Full Force. We kind of became a family since we were all kind of new to the game. And I don't think anybody ever anticipated that we'd still be talking about the original House Party 30 years later. But I think the movie holds up very well. It's got, obviously it's funny, but I think the timing of it was perfect at the time, as hip hop was kind of growing up and reaching out around the globe. So it's very humbling all these years later that people are still into it, and we're happy. And obviously it spawned House Party 1, 2, and 3. They did a couple other ones that we wasn't in. I guess they trying to come up with everything. Haunted House Party,
They tried.
Yeah, White House Party, Outhouse Party, Penthouse Party, So, but it's taken on a life of its own. But I think the love that the fans have for it is what keeps it alive and keeps BET playing it all the time, which is great.
Great.
We're gonna need that money right now.
That's what I say. That's a nice check.
The road is closed. I'm gonna need them residuals, man.
Exactly.
I want some of my money. No, but there's still a lot. There's so much love out there, and we certainly appreciate it. And as I appreciate you guys reaching out, and we can share. You got kind of a Martin shirt on there, homie.
I know. I see that. Damn,
I do. Yeah, man. I had to bring it out. Man.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that 90s feel. So that's...
no question. And obviously, I had the pleasure of being down early on with my good friend Martin's sitcom, the famous episode where I dated Shanae.
I remember that. Oh, that was
Become a
classic.
classic too. We had a great time doing that, you know.
How did he approach you about it? Like,
Oh,
he
he's
just
my
hit you up and was
homeboy.
like, "We're gonna do this. I'm gonna dress like a woman." Like,
Yeah, well, initially what happened was Martin had gotten a deal. You know, he had been in the movies with us. He'd been in House Party 1 and 2, blew up. He started doing Def Comedy Jam. Then
mm-hmm.
he got a deal over at Fox for a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I wasn't even living in Los Angeles at the time. I was visiting, and Martin came by my hotel. He had the pilot episode, the first episode of The Martin Show with him and Gina and everything. And he brought it over for us to watch. And I thought it was great. I was like, yo, this is dope. This is awesome. He said, yo, man, why don't you be on the show with me, man? Be on an episode, you know, with me. And so we were sitting there in my hotel room along with a writer named Bentley Kyle Evans, who ended up becoming a writer and producer on the show. He was sitting in the corner writing it. He had never written a script before. So he actually sat there in the room with us at the hotel right near where I live, matter of fact. And we decided that Kid would date the character Shanae, because I watched it and I was just like, yo, it'd be funny if you know, if I had a date with you playing a woman, that'd be kind of funny. So at the time we were talking about it, and I remember at the time, you know, he and I actually stood up in the room and started kind of working it out, like, you know, like almost like slow dancing together, like what might your character say? What would Shanae say to Kid if she had the opportunity to have a date with him or whatever like that? And I also remember at the time, the big record out at that particular time was Forever My Lady. You know, it was a big record. I mean, bigger record from that era. And so, you know, me being a rapper, just the way my mind works, I always try to rhyme something. So, you know, Forever My Lady is easy to convert that to Forever Shanae. And so, you know, I said that in the room. And about a week later, I got the script. They sent me the script to my house back east. And it said Forever Shanae on it. And a few weeks later, we went out and shot it. And, you know, once again, not realizing it would become one of the most iconic episodes on the Martin Show. And we had a great time doing it. We laughed. We had to shoot scenes over so many times because we kept laughing. And, you know, it's like weird. Like, you know, I'm holding my homeboy. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And I, you know, I love Martin to death, but he's a really, 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 really ugly woman. Really, like, ay, you know, he's a good looking dude, but he's an awful looking woman. I'll tell you that. That's on guard. That's on guard.
That's on guard. Yeah.
And by the way, and in addition to that, for many years, me and a good friend of mine, Stephen Kitt, were responsible for the Martin theme song. Martin.
Really?
Martin. Yeah. If you check the credits, you see Kidd Entertainment at the end of the credits. So that was, you know, that was also based on the friendship that Martin and I had. I just wanted him to have like a real fly theme song. So a cat that I was working with at the time, Stephen Kidd, composed it. We put it together. I said, yo, let's try to use, you know, initially I was like, let's use the way that Kid Capri would say Martin's name on Def Comedy Jam. You know, when he would introduce him, he would go, ladies and gentlemen, Martin. I took the Martin. And the funny part was, I didn't want to sample. Capri's an old friend of mine, so I didn't want to sample him because they didn't give us a lot of money. So I was like, nah, man, I can't, you know. So I did it myself. Like I said, Martin, like that. Eventually, we worked Capri's voice in there, but you know, a lot of times that's how these projects start. They're born out of the friendships that we have, and you know, we want all our friends' projects to do well. So if Martin asked me to be on his TV show on the first season, you know, which is critical, you know, black shows didn't last as long as Martin's did. So, you know, we want to come out blazing. So let's get all the star power out. And if there's anything that my presence could bring to the show to make it popular, make it funny, you know, I'm down. We were down to do it. We always helped each other like that, especially back then.
That's definitely what's up. And like I said, people that's on Facebook, Instagram Live, y'all definitely hanging out with us. And we got Christopher Kid Reid in the building. We got Red Rose in the building. I'm your boy Princeton, man. We just hanging out with Kid. What I want to know is who came up with the iconic dance in the first House Party movie? Like who came up with that iconic dance scene?
Well, actually, the dance, particularly the dance that Play and I did, you know, with the feet and all this and that was something that we, you know, those dance moves were stuff we were already kind of doing, you know, while we were out on tour. So when Reggie came up with that aspect to have like a dance battle at the party, you know, a lot of those were moves like we already did. And then Tisha and AJ, you know, they were great dancers in their own right. So they came up with their routine to kind of, so we could kind of go back and forth. But the Kid and Play kick step, as it's called, was actually kind of was developed out of a situation. Back in the days, we had 3 backup dancers, and they were called Nonstop. And they would do a version of that where they would kick their feet together, but they used the 3 of them. And we, you know, they danced behind us, and they were our backup dancers early in the game. Early on, we kind of moved on from that. We actually couldn't afford to have dancers back then because, you know, times was hard on the boulevard. So Play and I had to do a lot of the dancing ourselves. So what we did was we just kind of reworked the kick dance that they were doing with the 3 of them for just the 2 of us. And once again, not knowing that, you know, that would become as popular as it did. You know, it was either something we put in our early videos, and it kind of became a staple of our performances. So when people saw us, you know, there's 2 things they was expecting. They was expecting to see some hair in the air, and then expecting to see, you know, and then do your dance, man. Go on there and do the dance. Put the kick, come on, man. You know, even old people know, go on, kick it out, go on, do that dance where you kicking the foot together. Go on.
Can you still do that? Are you able to do the dance now? I mean, not right in front of us, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, nah, trust me, we was on the road doing it. What you talking about? Before the virus shut it down. Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things that people have come to expect it. I mean, if please, they break out the torches and burn the building down if we don't do that damn dance. You know what I mean? And we're happy to do it. We love it, and we love the response that it still gives to this day. So you know, if we ever come out of hibernation, we'll do it again. You know, we will. But we'll do it virtually or something.
Right.
right.
So going back to the house party, I want to know if they could do a remake, because you know they're doing all these remakes. Mm-hmm. Who would you want to play you, and would you even appear in the movie as well?
Well, you know, actually, they're trying to do a reboot of House Party. LeBron James and his company have acquired the rights to do House Party, and they're also working with some of the writers and producers of the TV show Atlanta. So, and that was already kind of in the works before all of this kind of happened. So I'm not quite sure what the status is right now, but yeah, it was a big deal that he had acquired the rights and put that team together. And I'm excited. I mean, I don't, you know, I have no idea what they're going to do with it, but I kind of feel if LeBron James is a part of it, I feel feel great about that. And the people from Atlanta, which is one of my favorite television shows, they always do great work. So I have no idea, you know, if they got to get somebody, you know, I don't know how they're going to rework it. I don't think it'll be exactly the same. I think they'll, you know, take it to a new level, a 21st century kind of level. And I'm excited. And, you know, any level of participation is cool with us. But at the same time, we also think, look, it's cool to take the house party vibe that we helped create and bring into a new generation. That's fine. I mean, I'm always going to be associated with house party forever. That's not even up for discussion. You know what I mean? That's beyond us. So we'll always have a special relationship with that movie franchise. And I think the people feel a certain way about us. So, you know, I'm excited to see what LeBron and his crew does. And, you know, I'd be excited to see what this new generation, how they'll accept it.
Yeah. That's definitely crazy. Yeah, something like that being approached with LeBron being a part of it. That is.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, yeah, it should be flattering, I'm sure, to Reggie Hudlin and everybody involved with the original House Party movie. You know, the fact that, I mean, LeBron James is one of the, you know, probably the biggest, you know, sports star in the world today. And the fact that, you know, that he feels strongly enough to put his name and as he already has put his name behind a lot of successful different ventures, that he wants to link it with the House Party franchise. That's very, you know, it's kind of humbling, and I'm sure they'll do a great job. Absolutely.
Yeah. And with that being said, like I said, we Facebook Live, Instagram Live, we hanging out with kids, Fan Spotlight TV, man.
Facebook.
That's right. What would
peace to the bots. Peace to my Russian bots.
Which house party would you say is your favorite movie that you
Ooh.
what's your favorite movie? Like which one that you will figure like the best
Well,
movie I did?
That's a good one.
you know what? I think, when it comes down to it, I mean, look, we had a great time doing all the ones that we did. As I said, all the cast became like a family, and friendships that we carry, to this day. But I'd have to say there's nothing like your first one. Your first girlfriend, your first kiss, your first, whatever, right? And I just remember just that vibe on the original house party. Like I said, we were all so young. We were making the movie on a budget. Nobody cared about it. We just liked being together and working with one another and kind of rooting for each other. And, with that success, I mean, if that doesn't happen, then I think, certainly the course of Kid and Play's career would have, probably gone a whole nother way. I mean, being in that movie, starring in that movie, and having it have the success that it had, changed our lives forever. So I would definitely go with the first one.
The first one. Okay, cool. So now, was the scene where it was like a rap battle that you guys had, was that like a freestyle for real, or that was something that you wrote, just like you wrote it, or was it just off the cuff?
You talking about the rap battle in the film?
In the scene, yeah.
Yeah, well, the idea was Reggie Hudlin, the director's idea, to at some point have Play and I go back and forth and battle each other on the microphone at the party while Martin was DJing. Mm-hmm. So it was my job to write that whole piece. So I wrote his rhymes and my rhymes. And the only thing that Reggie told me at that point was, look, make it, have it go back and forth, and you win, but Play, he damages you on the way, and then you kind of, hit one out the park at the end. So if you notice early in the battle, Play is killing me. Play is killing me. So and in particular, I hit him. I gave him all these great lines. My Play was, that's the kind of relationship that we had. Like, we knew each other so well that I could write for him. We knew each other so well that when he was doing something artistically that represented me and the group, I could totally trust him with that, as he could trust me lyrically. So early in the battle, he's just tagging me. He's just like bam, boom, and plays. So he did a great job pulling it off, because his acting brought it off, because he was just like, come on, I'm killing this guy. What are you doing? This is no battle at all. He just, you know what I'm saying? He's hyping it up, right?
Right.
And then when I start tagging him in the end, then all of a sudden he's playing it off, even when wait, man, the tables turn now. So it was a great job of acting on his part. But yeah, that was typically, that's what we did. Reggie would ask if it was something that involved some music, rapping, dancing. Reggie would defer to us and just say, look, this is where the scene starts, this is where it ends, this is where I need y'all to be. Fill in the blanks. Later on in the film, when I'm locked up in the jail cell, that's another rap that I had to write, where they're trying to mess with me or whatnot. That was a little joint. He said, "Yeah, man, you gotta rap while you're before they pick you up from the jail." So I was like, "All right." So we did that too. So Reggie was smart to take advantage of some of our skills. Like I said, on the writing tip, on the dance tip. Like I said, Tisha and AJ did their choreography. Full Force changed a lot of their lines. All that kick your effing ass, and that didn't exist before. Full Force, and they made all that stuff. All that I smell. Full Force created all of that stuff. And Reggie was great and smart enough to allow us to do that, and I think it enhanced the movie as a whole. He definitely looked forward to our participation. And I think that's why it worked so well.
Definitely crazy. Now I know, like I said, that we live, and I know it's a lot of people that's watching, like artists and stuff like that. What would you say was one of the biggest sacrifices that you had to make during your career?
Well, I think once everything kind of got going for us, and we were making films and touring extensively. One of that things that it does is it kind of brings you away from your family. And there were certainly times where I wished I could have been places family wise, but simply wasn't able to, flying here or touring there. But you have to make sacrifices like that, but then you also have to make sure there's certain things that you don't miss. So, I think I tried to strike a balance with my family, my children, my kids' mothers, and it took a whole kind of total team effort to get it done. And my three kids are grown now, and they were they turned out great. But I had some great mothers that did a lot of the heavy lifting, and it took a village, and I think that's one of the things that you have to sacrifice. You have to we were never like, we were doing all right, but, it wasn't like we were like fantastically rich that we could, certain things were going to have to suffer because, money had to be made and commitments had to be kept. So that was a rough one. But I tried to make those moments more about quality than quantity, because I wasn't going to be able to have a lot of these days. It wasn't going to be about quantity. It had to be about quality. And having memories with your family that that they could cling to, and I could as well. I mean, it's kind of emotional things that I needed as well. So I think we got it done, but it took everybody's help. That's for sure.
So between
family.
So between
it's crazy right now. Everybody hating their family now. Everybody's been cooped up so long. They're just like, I want to go.
Yeah, some people got close. I got close with a bit of my family, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they
it's an
haven't bothered
opportunity.
me too much.
Right. Yeah, I think it's what I think it's a great opportunity to do that. I mean, people I haven't heard from in a while have been reaching out. I've been doing the same. Like I said, I think we have to kind of use this time to recalibrate. And if there are things that you hadn't been doing or people you hadn't been connecting with that you feel like you would like to, before whatever next happens.
Yes.
We sure don't know. I mean, 2 months ago, we never would have thought we'd be in the predicament that we're in right now. So, if we know nothing about over the last couple of months, is that tomorrow is not promised. So, we're using that opportunity and in a fun way, not like a dreading way, but more like a celebration of life, not where we're looking at death around the corner. I refuse to look at things that way. And I know sometimes it can get tough, but that's what we all have to help each other. We're all going to have down days when we're going a little stir crazy and you want to get out the house, or you just want to get your life back to the way it used to be. And that's when we have to help one another out. So, that's what my friends and I and my girl, what we do for each other and then for our friends. And we'll continue to do it,
Right.
and keep smoking a lot of weed.
So between acting, you do music, a comedy.
Yeah.
What is the most challenging one?
Voiceover.
Oh,
yeah. Shout out to
that. Okay. Yes.
Shout out to my voiceover agent at AVO. We need you now more than ever, guys. Let's get these voiceover jobs coming, okay? The road is closed.
What would you say is the most challenging out of all of them?
I like the fact that we've gotten, both Play and myself have gotten a chance to do a bunch of different things over the years. Play also has a bunch of different side endeavors that he loves to do that are challenging. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I like about each one of them. Obviously music is where we started. I love music, and I still work in music, write and produce with other artists to this day. I love that. Performing live, which is what we're still doing. It was always exciting because you get to be out there with the fans, and it's back and forth, and you get the love right then and there. Mm-hmm. Stand up has always been great because it's kind of working different muscles, and you can kind of get your opinion and your humor out there. Voiceover stuff is great because it's really easy. You're just reading. You know what I'm saying? And it's sometimes the projects that I've worked on over the years on the voiceover tip are always kind of varied and pretty exciting. So I've been really fortunate that I've had these several things to be able to do, because over the years, over a 30-year career, all the different things aren't hitting at the same time. A lot of times it's just like one or two things are hitting, and and the touring is dry. But the stand-up is hot, but the touring is dry. The music is hot, but the voiceover is low right now. So just in terms of just trying to keep things going and keep the income coming in, and then also kind of challenging yourself creatively by doing different things that work kind of different creative muscles. So I'm real fortunate in Play. I'm sure Play feels the same way, that we get to do a bunch of different things, and hopefully we'll continue to do that when the fog lifts.
Exactly.
Right. And like I said, we Facebook Live, we hanging out, Fan Spotlight TV, like I said. One thing one thing I want to know is,
do an old school dance.
I know that you had I know you had a small stint on the TV show Sister. Tell me how that process of doing TV and doing music and doing movies is a different process. Tell me about that process of doing TV.
Okay, well, that was another a great time we had. I've been fortunate to have worked with some great people, behind the scenes people in the business. And one of the most incredible people I've gotten to work with over the years is the television music producer, Suzanne DePass. Sister from back in the day. She ran Motown with Berry Gordy. She's produced all the Motown specials, Showtime at the Apollo, a bunch of different, the Jacksons miniseries, the Temptations miniseries. This is all the things that she's done. She also produced our cartoon series back in the days, and Suzanne also produced our movie Class Act. So I've had a long relationship with her for a long time. She actually used to manage me for several years. And this was around in that time in the 90s. She was producing the TV show Sister, and she asked me to be on there a few times. And then we worked it into a recurring role where I was one of the girls' bosses. I was Tia's boss at the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just one of those things where, I respect her so much. She saw at that particular time, to my earlier point, the Kid and Play stuff was kind of quiet. So I was out in Los Angeles doing my thing. I'm hustling. You gotta work, gotta do stuff. And she was kind enough and thought enough of my talent and creativity to bring me on the show. And we had a great time doing that. I learned so much from her. She's a fabulous producer in all different aspects. So, and it was great. I mean, the twins were really young at the time. They were growing up. I kind of helped, I kind of saw them grow. Their parents were there all the time. Their parents were great people that I got to know as well. And we had a great time doing it. And obviously, T and Tamara, the country has loved them for a long time as well. So I did that. I did their little brother, Taj. He had a show for a while called Smart Guy, that I guested on as well. So, when Suzanne DePass got Showtime at the Apollo years later, she called me up to do a segment on there. When she produced the miniseries The Temptations, she called me in for a role in that as well. So, as long as Suzanne DePass is working, I guess I'm working. So, it's been real cool. But she's a great lady. Everybody should look her up if you're not familiar with her work. She's amazing, and she's a sister. So, So hop to it.
So this is just something random, just quick little. But what are the top 3 songs on your playlist?
Ooh, wow. Well, I tell you what I've been listening to. Lately.
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of Mac Miller, the late rapper.
Okay.
His last CD was called Circles, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of his. And I just kind of gotten into him around maybe a couple of months before he passed. I was really got into his music, that project Swimming.
Yeah.
And I was listening to that a lot. Even the one before that, when he was making all these songs about Ariana Grande when they were together, that was a really happy one. He was like, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Then the next one after they broke up was really, really dark and kind of painful, but really compelling. You know what I mean? And then this last one since he's passed. So I've been listening to that a lot. And then I switch around a lot too. But to be honest, for probably the last 2-3 weeks, there's a version on YouTube. I've been watching a video where it's Karen Clark Sheard, Byron Cage, and Marvin Winans, and they're singing "Lord, You Are My Everything." And and it's like a 10-minute version. They got the choir there. I think it's in Detroit because I think that's what Byron Cage said. And I've just been, and I'm not religious in the least. I'm the opposite. That's play. But it's weird. I'm not really. I'm not religious, but I love gospel music. I don't know if that sounds weird, but you know, I would visit, you know, my friend's church, like in Houston or you know, other parts of the country, and they would invite me to their church, and I would go not because I believe, you know, I believe. I just, you know, I was like, well, you know what? Whether I believe there's something after this, there's no reason why I can't, you know, listen to the pastor talk, and he can give me some advice that I can use in the here and now. You know, those are the things that I don't necessarily have to do because it's going to get me somewhere else. There's things that I need to be doing because you need to be doing them because it's the right thing to do. Because you're supposed to take care of your kids. Because you're supposed to love your fellow man. Because you're supposed to help one another. So I would do that, and the music always, you know, would inspire me. So I just stumbled onto this version a few weeks ago, and it is so I listen to it every day, like a few times a day, just to kind of get me going in the morning and you know, to face whatever challenges that are ahead. And it's just really moving. I mean, you talking about, like I said, Karen Clark. I mean, please, Marvin Winans, please. So I urge people, particularly those if they are seek that out. I think it's called "Lord, You Are My Everything," and it's a amazing version, amazing live version. So yeah, believe it or not, Play probably having a heart attack somewhere. He's like, you listen to what? Now Play is the one with he's full of faith for both of us. So he's got us covered. He's full of faith. He's full of faith, and I'm full of weed. Apparently.
Who says they can't be combined, though? Who says?
No. It's all good. But I think that's one of the great things about our relationship over the years. Speaking of playing myself, is one of the things that I think make a great a duo or a great combination is not so much the things that they have alike, but the things that make them different, the things that kind of complement one another. And I always thought that Play and I had that ability to play off one another, use each other's talents individually, and then kind of bring them through collectively. You know, whatever one of us was stronger at at something, you know, we allowed that person to kind of take the lead, knowing and trusting that, you know, that the right thing would be done. So, you know, it's definitely worked and had a positive aspect and effect on Play's life, and you know, that's great for him. And y'all
were like the ultimate like best friends on a show, like in a movie where we watch. Like everybody saw that, at least from my perspective. I wanted my own kid. Like I wanted to have. And then when I met my friend, we would do the dance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I learned to dance. It was one of those things where it's like that's your friend. You saw them do the dance. You're like, they BFFs. Like they cool. Like. It's just the vibe you guys gave all the time. You guys, like you said, it was magnetic.
Well, thank you very much for that, Rose. But I think it's based on the fact that you know, particularly at that time, you know, we were best friends. Like, you know, we saw each other every day for hours every day. Like before we blew up, before we were doing anything, you know, we were just two dudes named Chris that lived around the corner from one another, and we spent almost every day together. So we knew each other. And one of the great things, I think, particularly when we look back 30 years later, is what Kid and Play is kind of represented. You know, so many people would come up to us and, you know, or come to my live shows or my comedy shows, and, you know, they want to meet, take a picture, what have you. And they would tell us, they was like, yo, man, when I was in high school, man, or when I was in college, yo, me and my homeboy, man, we was tight, man. They used to call us Kid and Play, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that's cool, because what that means is, you know, it's like it became a synonym and a statement for friendship and loyalty and people sticking together. You know, people is like, yo, man, don't try to get between them two. Them two tight like Kid and Play. Like, true. You know, like dead that. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point, I remember, was it like a couple years ago? I think it was Drake and Travis Scott had a record. You remember that? Never let a nigga ride your wave.
Yeah.
They did that, and Travis Scott is rhyming on there saying, "Me and Drake kick like Kid and Play." You know what I'm saying? Me and Drake kick it like Kid and Play, and these guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are the young, and these are the stars of today. So I mean, over time, it's like I said, it's one of the things that's really humbling about it. You know, it's just like y'all really like us. Y'all still really like us, you know. But sometimes people can take it sometimes people take it too far. I get approached a lot of times by like young artists that they want me to hear their music or get an opinion on something, or maybe they want me to jump on something or what have you. So these cats hit me up. This is a few years ago, and they said, "Hey man, I forgot the name of the group. I wish I could remember the name of the group. They were great young people, two dudes, and they was like, yo man, we got this song called Kid and Play, and we want you to listen to it. We're gonna send it to you. Maybe you want to jump on it. Maybe you want to jump on it. Maybe you want to jump on it. But listen to the song." And I was like, "All right, man, send me the song." So he sent me the song, emailed me the song, and I'm playing it, and it's jamming. And all right, dude, and going back and forth or whatever. And then they coming up there, then they get to the hook, and it went like something, 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 say, you know what you say. I'm gonna run it down each and every day. We gonna do our thing, don't care what you say. We tag team bitches, that's that Kid and Play. Kid and Play, Kid and Play. We tag team bitches, that's that Kid and Play. I'm like, whoa, 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 my dude. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, whoa.
I wasn't ready.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I said, boss man.
Oh my gosh, hold on, y'all.
I said, bruh. I said, bruh. I said, that's what Kid and Play mean to y'all? He tried to tell me Kid and Play is when you and your homeboy have sex with the same girl. I was like, oh, hell no, man. Ain't gonna be that kind of house party. So I told the dude, I said, bruh, I said, I appreciate your creativity. I said, first of all, I said, ain't no way Play getting on this record. Hey, that's dead. That's dead in the water. That's past the Play. He ain't getting nowhere near that record. I can tell you that right now. I said it, and it's too wild even for me. I'm like, we tag team. I was like, stop it. But I get what he was saying. Him and his boys tight like that. But yeah, that's ill. Like, ew.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So Kid and Play strong in the streets, I guess. But just y'all gonna keep tag teaming them. Just don't take out there. All right, yeah. Do Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. Say that's what it is. Oh my God. We Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, bitches. I was like, come on, youngin'. Don't do me like that.
That is funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but keep them songs coming, boy. I'm always interested in how, hearing young people and what they're thinking about musically. And, and especially in times like this, it's important. I love the way, like I was saying earlier, how the DJs are really coming out and trying to be creative and trying to, lift people's spirits, raising money. Stuff like that. A lot of these guys are friends of mine. I mean, Capri, we go way back. D-Nice is the biggest rock star in the world right now, doing his thing. Yeah. Love him. And all the other, the DJs, up and down the line, Skills in Virginia, my man, Chaos, so many. And trust me, there's been a lot of nights lately that they get me through the night, and for, you'll go into D-Nice's room, and you'll see people and then when we'll start tapping to one another and typing to one another, and you'll see Donnie Wahlberg in there. You'll see the other night, Halle Berry was up in there. So I got excited. I was like,
hold up.
I know, where's that? I was like, where's that cucumber emoji? Send that to Halle. I sent Halle Berry 10 cucumber emojis. I sent her a basket full of fruits and vegetables. I'm like, you just see famous people in the room, and it was weird. I got excited the other night. You remember this lady? She was, I think she was Obama's like press secretary, light-skinned lady, Valerie Jarrett was the name. Yeah, and she was in the room. I'm like, oh, damn. I was like, yo, tell Obama we said what's up. We miss you. Yeah, please come back. Please come back. Come back. Get President Cheeto out of here, man.
Yeah.
But those rooms are like a lot of fun, and then doing stuff like this is important. It's important, to obviously to support what you guys are doing. Keep ourselves visible and share information, because I think that's what a lot of people are worried about these days, that there's a lot of misinformation or disinformation going out there. And I think, you know, we particularly as people of color have to be honest with one another, and don't be ready to jump and move just because somebody says it's time to jump and move. You know what I mean? So getting people to come back, you know, I think personally it's a little premature. And I think we just have to continue to be vigilant, continue to be careful, and also uplift each other. You know, like I said, with the stories and the fun and the remembrances and the music and stuff like that. That's how we're going to get through it. We're not going to get through it with our heads completely in the sand. But we'll get through it if we stick together. That's for sure.
Right, absolutely.
And with us being on Facebook Live, we do have like a lot of people who just love.
We're on Facebook Live, tag teaming them. You know what it is.
What I want to ask is, as far as like with artists, like what was your process, or how did y'all process like going to the studio? How was your process with making the music, coming up with the music, and like how was the environment in your studio? Was a lot of people? Was it just like you and whoever was creating in there?
Well, I'll tell you this. In particular, when we started, we had a very our producer was Herbie Lovebug, like I said, who created and produced Salt and Pepper, Kwame, Dana Dane, Sweet Tea, and ourselves. And Herbie was a musical genius, and he was also our manager. And a very good friend of ours. We were all tight. We all grew up together in the same neighborhood in Queens. But when it came time, you know, to start recording as Kid and Play, he had very specific rules, because we didn't have big budgets back then. So, you know, the money was not at a premium. You know, the money was tight. You know, we used to record our first few albums. We recorded out of this dude's studio he had in his garage in Bayside, Queens. You know, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't no big fancy studios, like, you know, like, nah, it just wasn't like that. And also too, just in terms of working, Herbie taught us to be very, very efficient. When it was time to come to the studio, because the studio, you're on the clock. We're paying for that. You right? You come to the studio, you come ready to rap. You come ready to sing. You come ready to create. You don't get there and then start writing your rhymes. No, because we're on the clock. Write the rhymes at home. So I would write, you know, whatever the lyric, you know, what we needed lyrically, the hook, the verses, you know, mine or plays or whatever that particular song was. I did all that stuff at home. I'd already had the beat already, you know, for a few days or whatever. So when we come in the studio, we come in to lay it down. I'm not coming there to create it. Now, everybody has their own process. Like, you know, there's lots of friends of mine that would do it differently. You know, a guy like my homeboy from back in the days, Grand Poobah. Grand Poobah used to come to the studio and start playing records, and then start playing records and listening to beats, and then put the beat together, and then start writing. And we turn around and we've been there for like 7-8 hours, and now he just getting ready to start rhyming, you know, putting it down. I'm like, I was like, must be nice. I said, we could never do that. He was like, you got to be prepared because we're on the clock. We don't got no big budgets. You know, we're the little engines that could. So, and I appreciated that. And in moving forward, even after we had moved on from working with Herbie, those are lessons that you know, I still abide by. You know, when I'm working with young artists or any artist, that's kind of how I like to work. I like, you know, when we get there, especially now with all the stuff you can do at home, you know, when it's time to hit the studio, you got to be ready to pop. And we didn't have a bunch of cats up in there smoking and drinking. You know what I mean? All that smoking and drinking for me didn't come till way later. But at the time, there wasn't like 10, 20 cats in the studio. It was you, me, Play, you know, Herbie there if he's producing, and the engineer, and that was it. And that's how we kept it very efficient. That's how we got, you know, albums and records done in really, really record time. And that's why I think they came out as well as they did, and they hold up to this day. You know, I mean, like I said, everybody has their process, you know, and I've worked with different artists that do it differently and come out with great records. But the way we were taught was just keep it lean and mean, focus, come prepared to work, and come prepared to lay it down. Don't come there and get creative. You had all day yesterday to think about it and imagine what you're going to do today. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we were taught, and I think it worked well for us.
So now, going back a little bit towards after you did House Party, did you get any like rap? Because you guys basically paved the way for like rappers going into acting. So were there any like, you know, people who came and you know, gave recognition and it's like, yo, you transitioned me. I saw what you did and I try to do, you know, kind of implement the same tactics that you did?
Yeah, I think over the years we've been fortunate to really get a lot of love, not just from the fans, but from a lot of our peers, a lot of our musical peers, a lot of our hip hop peers, a lot of our acting and entertainment peers, and we completely appreciate that. I mean, something that comes quickly to mind is I remember years ago in a club out here in Los Angeles that we used to go to. It was called Dublin's. You remember like the Jay-Z record, Bubbling in Dublin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was our spot. It used to bubble. Woo! Sometimes it used to bubble over. But yeah, those were the days. But I remember one time running into Method Man and Redman. Method Man and Redman were in the club that particular night. It was the hot night of the week. I think it was the Tuesdays were like really hot at Dublin's. And I ran into them upstairs, and they were both, and I knew them kind of a little bit, at that point, maybe kind of casually or in passing, but they took the time to kind of say what's up. And I think at the time they were just completed or they were in the middle of doing one of those How High movies. I think it was the first How High movie.
Yeah.
And, just the sentiments that they expressed to me were, like, yo, man, we doing it. We see, you know what I mean? Like to that effect that they had seen, our work and were inspired by it. And, they were determined to kind of do something as meaningful and as far reaching as what the things that we did. And, that's still to this day. And anytime we run into them, I think we do shows with them occasionally, and they always show mad love. And they're both, big favorites of mine, Meth and Red. But yeah, we've gotten so much love over the years, and sometimes it's like people that you don't expect. Or it was funny. I was watching Questlove was DJing yesterday. So when Questlove is on IG, I'll fall in there, and he's always gonna play some cool stuff. And so I'm gonna check in. I say, yo, what's good? And he's playing stuff, and we're having a great time. And then at one point he turns the music down, and he says, yo, kid, he says, I gotta tell you, he said one time I was playing this private event, and I got Obama to do the kid and play kickstep. And I said, what? I said,
where you didn't record that?
Yeah, that sucker made my day, right? You know what I'm saying? I was like, we tag team, bitches, let that kid play. Obama doesn't get it play. Yeah. See? I know how to make Real Rose laugh and drop the now. All I gotta do is her new favorite song.
That's not mine.
The kid and play. Yeah, she go ahead. You got that in rotation now.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
But yeah,
now it's gonna stay in my head now later.
I'm telling you, that thing happened like 4 or 5 years ago. I can't get that damn song out of my head, man. But that was something that Quest just relayed to me yesterday. And when you hear stuff like that, you're just like, man, can you believe that, man? I mean, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, he's mad cool. He knows about the culture. But when you hear stuff like that, it kind of, makes you feel good. It kind of warms your heart. When I remember years ago playing, I was doing the Essence Awards, I believe, the Essence Awards. And I think we were like presenting an award or we were performing or something like that. And we got to go backstage. And I think Oprah Winfrey was hosting that year. So we're backstage, and we actually, we went by her dressing room. We wanted to say what's up to her before the show and everything. She's always been really, really nice to us. Mm-hmm. And we go inside, and in her dressing room, she's in there with Maya Angelou. So they're sitting in there chopping it up, Maya Angelou and Oprah Winfrey, right? And then we get in there, and Maya Angelou get a look at us, and she says, "Kid and play. My grandchild loves you." I was like, what?
I would have started tearing up.
Yeah, I was like, Mama, I made it, boy. You couldn't tell me. I said, you couldn't tell me I didn't make it. You know what I mean? I was like, my Angelou, man, how she know about us? You know what I mean? But you'd be surprised. People find their entertainment, no matter how serious their job might be or their occupation in terms of what they do for a living, they kick back too, man, and they need things to kind of get their minds off the important and very compelling issues of the day. So, if in between some of her great poetry, Maya Angelou kick back and watch House Party with her grandson, I mean, that's even better. I mean, and that's another thing over the years. House Party has really kind of been one of those films that, it kind of gets passed down. You know what I mean? Like older brothers passing it down to little brothers, and your daddy, your daddy will tell you, man, let me put this in, man. Y'all don't know. You know what I mean? but then they all can enjoy it. I mean, compared to I guess films that came after it, it wasn't like House Party was like a really raunchy kind of movie. I mean, it was a little edgy at times, but I mean, it's definitely family worthy. And like I said, to the extent that they replay it so many times on regular television, let you know that people are still enjoying it, and it's something that like I said, it's kind of been passed down.
Yeah. It was one of them right pass.
Pass down. I ain't say pass it around like them dudes, like them tag team dudes. I ain't say pass it around. I said pass it down.
It's like a rite of passage through the
family. Yeah, I think so. I think, and that's something that that just has to happen. The universe has to make that happen. That's not something that we can control. It's just how people feel about something and how over time it becomes even more important to them. You know what I mean? Especially in times like today. Or we just sitting back like, man, remember when we used to kick it? Remember we used to be at house parties, like together in the same house, all of us together? Remember that? The house party? Yeah. So I think, with that in mind, I think we'll always kind of be, associated with people coming together, having fun, and surviving, and not getting too rowdy, not getting too wild, living the fight another day, chasing some girls, being creative and just having fun while your father's waiting at home to beat your ass. Yeah. And people can identify with that too. I mean,
I love that.
That used to happen in real life to me growing up. That happened to me play all the time. My father used to wear me out, man. He used to wear me out, man. That's why when we started reading the house party script with all that stuff, we would tell Reggie, like, how do you, did you know us before? Like, this is so many parts of it were similar to our actual lives, things we've gone through, the strong fathers that raised us, and didn't spare the rod. So, I think maybe that's another reason why we were kind of able to fall into the roles pretty easily and genuinely.
That's definitely an amazing thing. And like some things we would love to know, like here on Fan Spotlight TV, I know Facebook, y'all know we hanging out with Kid from Kid and Play, and I got my people with me. One thing we want to know is like, what are the current things that you like, your current goals for your career, like far as music, TV, movies, and stuff like that?
Well, I think I'd like to keep doing all the different things that I've been able to do. And, a lot of that will involve, how the country does, how the world does, how we come up out of this. So I'd love to keep touring with Play. I mean, we're having a great time. The last 4 or 5 years, we've been on this I Love the 90s tour over the years with Salt and Pepper and Vanilla Ice and, cats like Biz Markie and Tone Loc, Coolio, and having a great time reconnecting with the fans. I'd love to keep doing the stand-up. Love to keep writing and producing with other artists and younger artists. Love to keep doing the voiceover stuff. I mean, over the years, I've done a lot of stuff with the NFL Network and a lot of narration stuff, animation, video games, stuff like that. So I've been able to do that to this point. And I just think I'd love to continue doing that. But we'll have to see how the world kind of comes out of this and what opportunities are still there, or what new opportunities are we going to have to create for ourselves in this new kind of landscape. So I think that's what smart people are trying to do right now, is take this downtime that we have, and figure out, what the next 4 or 5 moves may have to be, because there's a good chance that the world as we know it is never ever going to be the same. It's going to be something different, and we're going to have to navigate it differently, and maybe come up with different ways to be creative and to to earn a living and to have kind of creative satisfaction moving forward. So that's the challenge. But I always a lot of my entertainment friends, we try to keep each other uplifted by telling us, and just people in general that have accomplished a lot over the years. Look, we did this already. We did this back in the days. We did this when we weren't famous. We did this when we weren't rich. We were able to overcome all these odds. I mean, to become, a million selling hip hop artist and sell millions of movie tickets, and I mean that's a million to one shot. And to get to do it with your homeboy, your childhood friend that you grew up with, that's a trillion in one shot. And they told us that at the time. They told us you're never gonna make it. They told Salt and Pepper, you girls ain't gonna make it. That Kid and Play, y'all ain't gonna make it. Y'all, you know what I mean? Your dance is stupid. I don't, your hair looks stupid. You'll never make it. They told us all of that, and we refused to believe it. So if we went against all those odds back then, that's the same type of mentality we have to get back into today. We have to kind of remember who we were when we came up the first time, when we achieved it against the odds. That'll give us that same kind of spirit to allow us to do it again in this, in this post-pandemic world.
So, Kit, because I know a lot of people are tuning in, what is a advice that you give to people right now, especially artists, to inspire them? Like, what do you feel that they should know? And I want to hear from you, because you have so much knowledge, you have so much experience, and not only you have so much experience, you have so much different entities that you come from. You're not just a comedian, you're not just a voiceover actor, you're not just a rapper, you're not just an actor, you're doing all of it. Right. So I know there's people listening like, I can only maybe do one thing, but what is your advice to inspire them?
Well, first things first. My family's Jamaican. My father's Jamaican. Oh. My father was Jamaican, so that's why the 18 jobs. Yes, man. You have to do the voiceover. You have to do the acting. You have to do the rapping. You have to do the tapping. You have to do the tag teaming. You have to do all the things. So that's just the mentality that.
You probably put up that painting in the bag, didn't
you? Oh no, he was the one Jamaican that never smoked. He's the one Jamaican never smoked weed. I couldn't believe it. Rest in peace, by the way. Oh. But yeah, so that's the mentality I kind of came with, like to give yourself as many different opportunities as possible. But also to be honest, I mean, there's lots of things I've tried that I wasn't really good at. So, I would either have to really work on whatever that skill set was to raise the level so that it's comparable with the other things. You don't want everything to be on this high level, and when you try to do this, it's looking kind of suspect. It's not up to par. It doesn't feel like it belongs. So it's being honest enough to know where your talents lie. Be passionate about it. You should always start with that. Something that you love to do, that you do in your spare time, that you have a natural affinity for, and a natural talent and a love for. If it's singing, if it's rhyming, if it's rapping, if it's dancing, just to have that passion and the love for it. Because in order for you to take it to that incredible level, you're gonna have to really love to do it, because there will be disappointments along the way. And I know coming up, Play and I, we had so many great accomplishments, but we had a lot of doors slammed at first, and we had to kind of look at each other and be like, man, do we still want to do this? Are we going to make it? Are we running out of opportunities? Or is it time to grow up, so to speak? We hear that a lot. People just like, man, well, quit it with this hip hop stuff, man. And, get a real job, or, go out in the world, or go back to school, stuff like that. And, we always maintain stuff like that, but, we really, really wanted what we wanted, and we wanted to do it together. We wanted to be able to kind of lean on one another's talent and effort. So the young people, I just try to tell them, you just you have to come hard with it. You have to be honest about it, and you have to be, and especially nowadays with all the technology that's involved, it's a chance for young people to really, really win and to make a mark and make a lot of money. But you have to be able to you have to be willing to do all the work. You can put your own music out. Back then, you don't need a record label. You the record label. You can put your own stuff out now. Back in the days, we were indoctrinated to believe that we couldn't reach our fans without the record label. That's what they did. We were brainwashed to believe that. Now, obviously, with the advent of technology, there's so many different ways that you can get at your fans. There's nobody standing in between you. There's nobody between you and your potential fans. There's nobody standing between you and somebody that might be able to give you an opportunity. You can send out your own auditions. You can put your own music out. I mean, you can make a record today and it's on platform tomorrow. You can do that, but you gotta have to be willing to do all the work. You're gonna promote it. You're gonna come on with Real Rose and my man Larry, to promote your joint, or you're gonna get it out to the record pools and the DJs that need it. You have to be willing to do that. And I think young people's mindset today, if they have that type of mindset, it gives them a much better opportunity to be successful.
That's definitely some great knowledge that you're giving to all these people that's watching us.
Dropping jewels.
Definitely dropping gems. Hey, right. Definitely dropping gems on Fan Spotlight TV. We got Kid here. And I want to know, what are some of the things that you know now that you wish you knew back then as far as like the whole entertainment business?
Ooh, wow. Where do I start? One of the things that a story and an incident that comes quickly to mind is one of the things we had to learn early in this game, in the entertainment business, is to not take things too personal and to not let personal feelings color your judgment, as it may make you make an error in judgment, or make a bad decision because you feel in some kind of way about some entity or someone. Years ago, we were blessed enough to have our own cartoon series on NBC, The Kid Who Played Cartoon. We were the first rappers to have a Saturday morning cartoon. We were before Hammer, we were before everybody. And we really, really loved having that cartoon. We had friends of ours do some of the voices on the cartoon. Tommy Davidson did the voices. Martin did a couple of voices. Dorian Harewood did some stuff. What's old girl used to do it all the time? I forgot her name. But so it gave an opportunity for us to have our friends work with us. I mean, we did the wraparounds, and we were trying to teach kids lessons, stuff like that. And we really, really enjoyed it. And from what we understood, it did well. So after the first season, we also had a deal at NBC for a nighttime show, a sitcom. And this is before Fresh Prince, before all of that stuff. We simultaneously had a deal for a nighttime show, and we had a Saturday morning cartoon. Now, the new president of NBC came in at the time. I believe it was Warren Littlefield. He came in, and although he was, pleased that we had the nighttime deal with the network and we were going to develop that, they were going to cancel our Saturday morning cartoon. And we were just like, yo, cancel the cartoon. Like, yo, we were so proud of it. Like, what we didn't realize was that was part of the time when NBC was going to live action, when they started moving away from cartoons and started going to Saved by the Bell, started going to all of them nighttime. They started calling it TNBC because they were going for that teen audience rather than the kiddie cartoon audience. Now, we didn't see it that way, though. You know what I mean? We were just like, yo, man, these dudes is, we were hot. We were like, yo, man, do not cancel the cartoon. It had only been on one season. We really liked doing it. We thought it was, it was a nice little, jewel in the crown of our careers at that point. But the guy was insistent. He says, yo, he says, I'm canceling it. I mean, it's a fact. I'm canceling it. And we were so mad that we told our management, we said, yo, if this dude cancels our cartoon, tell him we don't want to do the nighttime show. We don't want to do the sitcom with NBC. And our management and agents, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I might as well have said we tag teaming bitches. Whoa, 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 whoa. They was like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I'll never forget, Plan I was just, we were feeling some kind of way. So we lost that deal. We said, yo, we opted out of that deal. We was like, nah, because we're thinking, you know what, we'll turn right around, we'll get another deal with ABC, with CBS, with whatever. You know what I mean? We figured we were so hot at the time. I figured we'll get another one. We just took it personal, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Meanwhile, they ended up doing the sitcom with Will Smith, you know what I'm saying? And the rest is history. We were just like, oh my God, we could have. That would have been, what I mean. That's kind of like the area that we were being slotted toward. You know what I mean? And when that opened up, Will Smith being Will Smith, had an opportunity to kind of do his thing and do his take on the show with Benny Medina and Quincy Jones, and so the world kept moving. And now this is what happened. We had two shows. Now we had no shows. You know what I'm saying? We had no more cartoon, and we walked out of the other deal. So, we learned a valuable lesson to don't take it personal, don't get in your feelings, and don't make rash decisions based off of emotion. You got to sit down with your team, with your advisors, and yourself, and really, really think about what the ramifications could be. And are you making this decision for the right reasons? You know, it might be the right decision, or maybe it's the wrong time. It might be, you know, there's so many different variables that we learned, you know, after that. But you know, that's over the course of 30 years. You're gonna make mistakes, and that definitely was one. Will Smith, whatever happened to him? Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be rash. Don't be, you know, just try to be as thoughtful as you can. Even you know, don't let your emotions, you know, rule the day. Ultimately, you know, you can feel some kind of way, but you got to calm down and be like, all right, you know, these are the things that could happen. So don't give up your TV shows, guys.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So, if Kid had to choose, which one would he have married first between Sydney and Shireen?
Ooh, wow, that's a tough question. Wow. Well, I would say this. I had Tisha and I had such a wonderful working relationship. She's the finest co-star I've ever worked with. So giving as an actress. I mean, a lot of people may or may not realize she was way more experienced than we were at the time. You know, she had done movies, she had done the television projects before, so she was probably one of the most experienced people in the cast. And you know, we would have all these scenes together, you know, where we have to be, you know, kind of intimate. And she was always a professional and great to work with. So I probably lean more toward Tisha, you know, and then, you know, there's a beige thing, you know, it's, yeah. Team beige, baby. You know what it is. Make them invisible kids. You know what I'm saying? No, but they were both great. I mean, AJ is wonderful. I mean, we just saw her this past January. We were out and about, and her and Play are still really tight. And you know, Tisha, I just saw Tisha before all this pandemic went down. I surprised Tisha on the set of Extra. She was there doing an interview, and she just, you know, they brought me out the back, and it was a nice surprise. And it's, you know, it's always wonderful to see her and to see all the guys. I mean, unfortunately, you know, we've lost some of the cats from back in the days. You know what I mean? Obviously the Robin Harrises are no longer with us. Yeah. Great guys that we worked with. You know, the Tommy Fords from Martin. You know, just wonderful people, not just creative people. So the ones that are still here, you know, the Tashinas and the Tishas. You know, it's something we need to celebrate. You know, and be glad for the ones that are still here, that we can, you know, still. You know, as they say these days, you know, give people their flowers, you know, while they're still here, because, you know, it's a whole new world out there, guys.
It definitely is. It really is. Like I said, man, it's a lot of knowledge being dropped, a lot of craziness going on here. Facebook Live, Instagram Live.
Yeah, I need to follow it sometimes. How about that?
Yeah, here with fans.
all this great advice I'm giving, right? I need to follow it. That's what I need to do.
Right.
No, but I mean, you know what? I've been so fortunate to be around some great minds over the years. The minds a lot, you know, smarter than mine, that I've been able to kind of glean from. And you know, my father used to tell me a long time ago, it's okay when, you know, he told me, he used to see me with my friends, and he said, you know, you would always seem to have it going on more than the rest of your friends. Like either you were smarter than them, or you were more accomplished, or you had set and reached some goals that they hadn't. He says, and that's cool. You know, you bringing them up. You know, you giving them an ideal to kind of to emulate and to work from. He said, that's fine. You bringing them up. He said, who's bringing you up? Who do you get to be around that's doing better than you? That's smarter than you? That's doing things that you hadn't even imagined or dreamed about? That's taking your mind and your thoughts and your creativity to another level. People get to suck from you. People get to sip from you and take from you. Who do you get to take from? Who do you get to who inspires you? You're obviously inspiring your people and your crew, but who inspires you? Who's going to take you to another level? So I've always tried to do that and to try to surround myself with people that are very intelligent, very creative, and in a lot of situations know a lot more about a particular topic or situation than I do. And that's how you get better. That's how you evolve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And who are some of those people that you would say inspired you throughout your career? Like people you worked with, or people you work with TV, movie, or everyday life people that's around you? Who you say
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I'd have to go with my father, who passed away almost a year ago. He was obviously, my main inspiration. And one of the things I remember about him most was, early in the game when we were trying to do this hip hop thing, hip hop wasn't the juggernaut that it is today. It was very difficult to kind of see the future. And with me running around, thinking I'm going to be a rapper and do all this different stuff, it was very difficult for him, being a Jamaican immigrant who was all about education. It was very difficult for him to kind of understand that. And, we went through it, we bumped heads, and, a lot of those beatings you saw in the house party movies and such were beatings that, we actually got back in the days. But to his credit, he saw how determined I was. He saw that, how many times, I got beat. I would still, he'd be on the phone with my relatives. He said, I don't know what to do. He said, I beat him and I beat him and I beat him again. And the boy still won't go to the party. He didn't know what to do. So one time he saw a flyer I had sitting around at the crib, and it was a local party that Play and I were doing. And he called himself trying to sneak it because he's like, what? I got to see what this is. I got to see what this is that I can't beat it out of my kid. Mm-hmm. So he snuck in, he went to the show, and then I saw him at home later. I came home and he says, yes, I went to your liquor show. And I was like, all excited. I was like, oh man, like, what'd you think? You finally saw what it's all about. And he says, well, first things first, the music was very loud. He said, it nearly gave me a heart attack. So I was like, okay, sorry, I'm sorry about that. But what that allowed him to do was, he got to see it for himself. He saw it wasn't, we wasn't running the streets, sticking up people. We weren't wilding. It was just kids getting together, trying to be creative. And he started to kind of peel back and give me some space and understand, that it was something that was viable. It was something that was worth my time. And he did his best to understand it when he hadn't understood it at all. My father was very instrumental. Like I mentioned earlier, Suzanne DePass was a great mentor and friend. And even a guy that I've known for over 20 years now, although he gets in trouble with us sometimes, is the one and only Bill Maher, who's been a close friend of mine for almost 20 years. I did the theme music for his HBO show. And, he's somebody that's inspired me in terms of, kind of thinking, thought process. He still bumps his head every now and again. So he need to, I told him, I said, you ain't gonna get no more passes, bro.
Yeah, no, right.
I said, bro, I'm only half black. I ain't gonna be able to save you next time, okay?
Exactly.
I said, you better off keeping that word out your mouth. You know
right.
what I'm saying? And so, he understands that. But yeah, there's just lots of different people over the years that have been really, really people that have inspired us. The Quincy Jones of the world, give us inspiration when we work with them, and even when we get to see them from afar. So, and I hope that, excuse me, I hope that still continues, moving forward in terms of, what the world is going to look like and act like. I hope we still get those opportunities to be around people that will uplift us, spiritually, emotionally, education wise. So right. We got to keep it moving. We got to prepare for this to end sometime.
Right.
Right. And like I said, man, we here, Fan Spotlight TV. We with Kid, and like I said, before we wrap it up, before we get out of here, my man Fred Mack want to talk to you for a minute and just say some few words.
That's what's up. What up, Fred?
What's up, Kid?
What's up, Fred?
All right.
How you doing?
Hey. All right. How you doing?
Yeah, man, you look like Shorty Low.
Hey. Thank you for this interview, man. This is a great interview. Great interview.
What was that Shorty Low record? Remember that word? It was in the clubs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man. Fred, it's my pleasure. I know we had a chance to rap a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, giving me the spotlight, give me that fam spotlight, and your crew here is great. Larry's great. Rose is awesome, and you got a great thing you're doing here, and continue to keep giving people opportunities to kind of share information and share stories and the goodwill. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if you don't mind, I might be able to get them rappers that made that tag team record. I could get them on for you next week. If you
Okay.
I'm not interviewing them. I'm not on that.
Come on, do it for Shorty Low.
Thanks again, kid. It's an honor to have you on Fam Spotlight. Much love to you.
Thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, much love.